we saw on their socials, Flag Gaming, I mean, Juan was a guarantee to see today. Raymond, not as much. I thought we would maybe see him enter the mix a little bit, but he's right out of the gates, first map.
Well, let us transition now into Ilios. Thanks, Naori. We're going to be joining her after the map to see how this first one will go. And we're very excited and very eager to see how Flag Gaming are going to look with 2 new players to the roster sort of midway through Contenders, while LGE.Huya keeping the same roster minus Ven, the one they went to Showdown with, the one that, well, a lot of expectations and now a lot to maybe have redemption for. Is out the gates, it's the 3-2-1 from LGE, and then the 3 DPS is maybe you mentioned Heurix from Flag Gaming.
Yeah, and Melon's actually going to be going for the Winston as opposed to the Hammond that you would sometimes see. Still, though, very solid pick for them. It's going to be a lot about peeling and keeping Melons alive to kind of create space for the rest of the DPS, but Mask already down. Hacker getting out ahead early on.
Now he doesn't have to worry about his opposition and takes down the fire from the sky. One, not having the greatest first life he would like on this map, but now without a main tank, LGE are not in the most comfortable position either, as Juan was able to get resurrected. Pilly finding that opportunity, having the space. They still have their main tank, so there is still some shield providing from Melons, but he's taking in a lot of damage, and that's a really aggressive play from Sven, now known for his Diva and Zarya back in Korea, who are now going to give that point to LGE.Huya, and now they can play on the defense.
And now Flag Gaming, they do have the Nano Boost available. Maybe going to be able to give that to someone like Melons or Juan. A lot of options here, even could give it to Shochang, but they need the picks. They're starting to flip the point, but LGE is going to be dropping onto it quickly.
Yeah, that's a Nano given over to Melons, and Juan with the barrage trying to shut this down, but was not able to convert a kill. Advantage over Flag Gaming is Pilly with the Valkyrie in the air, more focused on the resources, could go still for the Resurrect, does just that. Now LGE, give it up, and surprisingly this is a point where you can stall for so long on.
Absolutely, but LGE, it's going to be tough to stall against them here in this next fight. They're coming up on basically everything. Interestingly though, Molly has actually swapped off of the Ana and gone over to the Zenyatta instead, which is quite a vulnerable pick against this triple DPS comp that Flag Gaming has. So LGE, though, they have a lot of ultimates. Basically everything but Molly's coming up. Langza a little bit off as well, but still a lot to work with to turn this around.
Oh, he was just trying to go for the hack onto the Doomfist. Shutting down the Doomfist kit would be a free kill. As now going maybe in for an EMP. Still no, as Shochang goes even deeper into the back line. Hacker holds on to that ultimate, and Flag Gaming can hold on to the point.
Well, this has been a lot closer than I think we would have anticipated, especially given the fact that Flag Gaming comes out with a roster that LGE.Huya could have spotted and instantly known what was coming their way. They should have seen the triple DPS from a mile away, and instead Flag Gaming in control now. LGE.Huya trying to find a way in so that they can expend the resources that they've been accumulating over the course of this round.
And maybe at some point LGE might need a Moira to eat some of this poke damage to add some extra healing. Molly is vulnerable, but able to still hold his own against Sombras, who are flanking. As Flag Gaming get up to 73+%. If LGE.Huya don't go in or do something, even with the EMP they just used, now using a Primal, this is bad. They were able to now zone control, get this one back. Flag Gaming are not out of it yet. The Nano Winston into the back. Barrier will stop the push initially. LGE are now sustained for the moment. They lose their Zenyatta. There's now only Lucio and Brig heals as Flag Gaming add more pain to this with an EMP, but not getting too many kills. It's only one onto the Winston as the point is about to flip back into Flag Gaming's favor, but LGE prevent it.
Now they sustain somehow, some way, and not only that, but they also dodge the EMP from Mask. So now LGE have the ability to continue that sustained type playstyle. They can basically play off of Molly, having the Transcendence available. As Flag Gaming goes forward, they're going to be diving in, looking for that target in the backline, but they're not going to find him.
Oh, Melons is able to use that bubble to also deny the hack. It's an early cooldown as Shochang is hunting for supports. But the break from Kami, you can see how he's sticking close to Langza, close to Molly to make sure that that Doomfist is denied. Now at 94+%, LGE, last chance to go in. Have Transcendence about to get EMP, but Flag Gaming have even more. As Shochang goes for the first pick, he's under fire. There's no follow from LGE to get him off this high ground. He's looking for more. Transcendence keeps LGE sustained. Maybe Sven will be staying in mech, and he does. As Shochang repositions himself, trying to help his team converge on these supports. LGE still in firm control as the primal from Melons zoning them off to maybe get this flip. It's overtime, almost ran off but in front of their eyes. But now Flag Gaming got the kills. It will be a retake, or they step off of it! No!
Oh no, they had 5 people up. They had 5 people up. They were winning that fight. That's in the chat for the boys, for sure. I mean, 1-0 lead now in favor of LGE.Huya, who were losing that fight. I mean, certainly, had Sven held on to the self-destruct, they could have gone for an EMP self-destruct combo. LGE.Huya might have been able to retake that and still get the win, but Flag Gaming didn't even give themselves a chance at all, and now are down 0-1 here in this first map. Now we move on to Lighthouse. Here we can see LGE.Huya kind of playing musical chairs, figuring out what composition they want to go for. Eventually, finally settling now here on the double flank. Kami actually coming out on the Tracer to try to put pressure on that back line where Flag Gaming might be exposed again, as they're very aggressive on the front line, and Raymond's back there kind of alone.
Running a solo Winston, this is going to be tough, especially going up against Tracer. You got CC from an Ana. See, Sven's going to be able to damage mitigate a little bit more with the Matrix, helping J-Mac on that front line. LGE.Huya looking to close out Ilios, as the point will unlock shortly. Now, how will the players converge to take that zone control? As the initial pick's going through, but the front line immediately crumbles for LGE, and this is a good start for Flag.
And now Juan inside of the point, literally inside of the point, not even trying to basically sit in the skybox. Well, Hacker's gonna find him, so yeah, no healing for him there, and now forces them back to the point, where Flag Gaming have to make that rotation, and now LGE.Huya diving back in soon. They have J-Mac on the Hammond to again approach Mask on the high ground.
Flag Gaming holding on to that high ground. LG kind of sneak. Oh, they get a cap in front of them. Flag Gaming did not communicate to disengage back to the point and prevent that from going on. They're still focused on the high ground. And now to fight to get this back could be a little tricky. They did get the picks, however, from Shochang, playing so aggressive. LG still haven't figured out how to deal with this Doomfist. And now Flag Gaming get that point back.
J-Mac just trying to get back over his teammates, try to get that healing from Molly or Langza. And Mask on this high ground. It's so difficult to get up there with them. Sven and J-Mac on this dive. Now that J-Mac has swapped back over here to the Winston, really have to make sure that they're getting in onto Mask, shoving him down to the high ground so that Kami can get better involved in these engagements. They need to kind of get Kami pulled in.
I don't know. Kami is now focusing on the high ground. A big biotic hits LGE as they go towards the point. EMP from Hacker before his last goodbye. Oh, Shochang. Ooh. Don't do it to him. By Gaming with this Doomfist, who is so disgusting, by the way, is really holding on to this defense. LGE, even with the EMP, couldn't take it back.
Yeah, LGE, you can see that they're really struggling with this high ground control. They can't get to Mask. When they go to the low ground, Shochang is just bodying them, and they can't deal with even the Ana player. I mean, Raymond's just safe in the back as well. LGE.Huya simply cannot get to any of Flag Gaming.
You have the sniper in her nest of Mask, and they send J-Mac right after her with the nano. Not able to convert that into any kills. Going after Shochang now without his kit. Well, until now, they will get that finish, and that's what they needed to do, is just identify when Shochang is out of cooldowns, because then he is just a body, a floating body who's ready to die. J-Mac couldn't hop back into it. The Primal from Flag Gaming making a ton of space, as Pilly is not sure, can't go really for the resurrect. He thought about it, got so low, but Mask is holding down the fortress at 99%. Flag Gaming about to send us into a round 3.
Looks like that's going to be the case, but LGE.Huya fighting back. Kami, he's going to be able to finally do something as everybody's fallen to the low ground, but needs to get some kills quickly, as Shochang has been doing just that.
J-Mac with the Primal, buying his team some time, could get some lucky environmental kills. They actually push Pilly up against a wall. There's no supports left for Flag Gaming. And that's the flip for LGE. They don't have a lot of members, though, so this is still winnable for Flag Gaming.
Oh, we saw LGE.Huya. I think J-Mac was just sitting there on the point, caught out by Juan, but Flag Gaming looking really solid with this triple DPS for them. LGE.Huya still in control here, gonna get the hack, gonna get the kill. So actually hanging on to this. This looked like it was Flag Gaming's round, and we're going to be taking it into now a round 3, but not the case, at least not yet. Flag Gaming, they've made some swaps here. No more are they going to be with that high ground control style, really kind of playing that ground war, that brawl style now in effect.
Yeah, giving up. There's no fars. Back to the Tracer duels as LGE have the EMP to work with. Flag Gaming, once they drop from the high ground, they're kind of bouncing from one high ground to the other as Juan harasses the backline. Couldn't land that stick. But Hacker, this is the EMP, one of the best Sombras in China, needs to sport this now. Only catches 2, and maybe a hack onto Shoucheng. That's the pulse bomb you needed to hit, and that's Kami following up with Hacker's EMP. Those are the kills that allow us to send us into the final fight of this map. LGE, if they win it, they'll take it.
If LGE.Huya steals away this map from Flag, that, I mean, you could almost call the series there. You are so broken mentally if that's the case. So now LGE.Huya looking to try to hold on to this one last fight no matter what. Flag Gaming, they have some good ultimates to play around with, as well as the nano boost to work off of if they can get away from J-Mac.
And Nano giving over, harassing the supports. He needs to cut off the resources. No Hacker, no hacks for LGE as Flag Gaming need to work around Shoucheng to zone off of this point to take back control. It's 99-99. You have Melons, you have self-destructs. Flag Gaming standing on top of this, but LGE won't give it up. It's a pulse that lands Mask right back to the Shadow Realm. In Flag Gaming, there's only one person left. The one standing in your way is J-Mac, and he is out. Now you're having some staggering people trying to get back, buy some time, but that overtime goes away, and Flag Gaming take it back and send us into a round 3.
Finally, we go to the round 3. We should have been here a minute and a half ago, but now we still see, at least for the time being, this Team Flag Gaming still in this series. I said it before, and I stick to that still. If we saw LGE.Huya win that right there, call the 4-0 right out of the gate. I mean, call it, because that would have completely shattered anyone mentally, I think, given that C9 that we saw earlier, and then having the chance to be able to close that round down very early on with like 100-30 or something like that, and go into a round 3, and then to have that be a loss. Luckily, though, fortunately, they played a really good last fight. Now they have a good shot here. They're playing Mask on the Widow. This is actually where Mask could shine on the Widowmaker, because LGE gonna struggle, I think, to deal with this high ground again, and on the hit scan rolls, this is where he plays his best.
And again, Flag Gaming don't really depend on an off-tank, right? They haven't played a diva with Melons. Still did work out because Shoucheng kind of playing like that diva. Less in the damage mitigation and more supporting Melons and actually creating that space so the team can take it. And again, like you said, it's up to Mask to win that Widow duel, because that also is a winning condition to control the zone. LGE currently going to take this cap. Finally, Flag Gaming going to deny it. Melons walks into a hack, and Shoucheng is also ready to peel for him. Still, the cap goes through for LGE, and Flag Gaming now have to fight to take it back.
Now Hacker working his way around, rotating, trying to get the hack off, does catch Melons, and that should be it. LGE should be easily able to finish those kills off, and that they do. They still have control of this point already, so now, yeah, J-Mac, he's going to find the last finishing blows, but let's be honest, it was a team effort all the way around. And Kami on the Widow now. You can see this forward positioning being taken by LGE. They're just looking to try to make sure that Flag Gaming really has to work to try to get all the way over the point. And LGE.Huya, they can back up, continuously disengage as they need to.
I like this Hammond pick from J-Mac to try and bowl through, and also can go and harass the Widowmaker. Don't need the Winston, although the Primal Rage would have been good to make that extra space, but the Mines could also be a great zoning tool, as Sven gets a biotic grenade, so he's immediately out of mech, and J-Mac took so much damage at the beginning. So with a vulnerable front line, Flag Gaming's DPS taking advantage, getting that cap, and then trying to equalize the score.
Good flop there, but Juan on the Sombra looking to match Hacker. This has been something that they've been trying to do. Hacker has come out on top against almost everyone that he's ever played on the Sombra, but at least for now, Flag Gaming getting a lot of benefit out of this 1-2 punch between Melons and Shocheng. Yes, they don't have the off tank, but as you mentioned before, Shocheng is kind of filling that role for them.
As you can see, LGE, they have the EMP to work with and a self-destruct, but they're playing so far apart that it's probably hard for Hacker to find that perfect opportunity. Really shutting down Shocheng's kit would be a free kill with this EMP and try and get Melons along with it. There's the EMP, it catches Shocheng. Great kill from Sven to follow up. J-Mac lays the mines and it catches Melons. He walks right into one. And with those first 2 picks, now LGE position themselves on the point, get those stagger picks, and take it back.
So LGE looks like they're going to get it here, and it's going to be basically a tie game at the moment as we see LGE.Huya just trying to clear the point. And in the meantime, it's going to be that Widow duel that could decide who's going to have the advantage going into the next engagement here. Yeah, whereas, you know, certainly, I think LGE.Huya, they need this pick. Otherwise, like you said, the EMP is going to come their way. They're not going to be able to answer it unless Langza actually stays away from one.
Oh, looking for it. He's going towards the back, and he didn't get Langza, who goes for barrier.
Oh, only 2.
So this helps the front line, but Shocheng will still get 2, 1 with 3. Barrier, schmarrier. That didn't help anything. Flag Gaming get the cap, and now they're going to equalize the score. It's flopping back and forth.
Yeah, it doesn't help anything when you only get yourself and one other person on your team. There's just too much line of sight there for them. But LGE.Huya, they're now out of control of the point here, but they have the economy advantage, especially with Hacker as he gets this reset, trying to build into this EMP quickly, and Melons is down.
All right, that's a nano opportunity for them. 6 versus 4, probably don't even need to use anything. Depends how Flag Gaming are going to keep contesting this. How are you going to flip this back? Shocheng is the only danger. Mask actually wins the Widow duel. So now this is free shots that he can take. Unfortunately, not able to peel for Shocheng as he was the only one left contesting that point. So LGE take it back. And now getting closer to 90%. Flag Gaming get hit with an EMP. Sven is there to follow. Self-destruct could be free. And you don't even need it. Could be used to just zone off as Flag Gaming re-engage. And that is just obviously the game for LGE. But Flag Gaming fought so hard.
They'll have a shot. We can't ever count anyone out anymore after what happened with Flag Gaming. So, yeah, miracles can definitely happen, but maybe not so much this time around. LGE.Huya, they're getting those final kills, and they just, with a little diva boop, push the one final player away, and that is it. 2-1.
2-1. LGE, though, lead the series 1-0. We're going to bring back our expert analyst, Naori. As this was a tight series, and of course, this is first versus second place, what were you most impressed from?
Honestly, J-Max Hammond. I was kind of surprised that we didn't see it on the first 2 maps, because when he brought it out on that last map, he did so much with it. His understanding of the kit was so good. His ability to consistently disrupt the backline, his mine placement, he really opened up so much space for his team. So it's a little disappointing that we only saw it on that last map. But I'm glad that he did bring it out, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more of it from him. The other person that really shone for me was Shocheng on that Doomfist. Really doing so much work. Good grief. The triple DPS for Flag Gaming looks so good. I'm glad that they've kind of brought in that extra DPS, and now that you can see that was kind of their plan all along. They do have 3 DPS players on their roster at the moment. So you can see how well that they've worked on that, and they've clearly turned that into something that they want to become their dominant composition. Of course, a little unfortunate with the 2-2 lock coming in soon, but looking so great for the moment. And I think that's the most important part. Mask also looking a lot better on that Widowmaker than what he usually does on the Sombra, because the Sombra v Sombra matchup between Hacker and Mask, Hacker was definitely lapping in that one.
Yeah, Flag Gaming, I think their best chance at getting something going for themselves is in the first 2 maps. This is where the triple DPS can work out. You know, you go into the assault map type and things actually can be very much in your favor. However, once we get over to the hybrid and escort map types, LGE.Huya, they can rest on the laurels of their 3-2-1, play into Hacker on the Sombra, and I think that might be it for Flag Gaming if they're not able to win one of the first 2 maps. So I think Flag Gaming, this next map has to be all or nothing. If you can't get that, I'm not sure about the series at all.
And there's Shou Chang being sported on your screen in the replays. Huge fan, but you also saw the transition of how LGE dealt with that. Hacker, instead of focusing more of his hacks on the melons, which is totally free without an off-tank helping him, he decided to shut down Shou Chang with that kit, and that's where on this last round, you saw Shou Chang, those EMPs especially going for him. Well, there we go. 1-0 for LGE.Huya. We will be heading into Assault next. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll see you guys soon. LGE.Huya are up 1-0 as we head to the City of Love. Will Flag Gaming love the result? We'll find out shortly, because it was a pretty close map 1.
Yeah, that was actually really, really close. Came down to the wire, and also Flag Gaming probably could have won that second round if they had maybe not gotten... Well, I guess the first round and the second round they could have technically won. But nonetheless, LGE.Huya, we're going to see them on the attack this first time here. And again, sporting the triple DPS is Flag Gaming. Yeah, we got Shou Chang showing off again how deep his hero pool is. Kind of supporting here, but this time on the Torbjorn.
I'm down for this. Now you got the poke damage from the far and the Torb and the Ash at a distance. Catches Kami. Forgot about that darn turret. But now, Flag Gaming disengaged towards the point just slightly, so this could give LG a chance to get into the right positions, especially Kami getting resurrected back into this fight. They won't have Molly, but running 3 DPS means, hey, 3-1, you still have 2 more to go.
Yeah, ideally, LGE.Huya, they want to stage this attack, slowly kind of incrementally push their way up, take down the turret, then go for their full approach. And now that they've dealt with Shou Chang's turret, they can go for that as soon as they stabilize, but they're not actually allowing them to. Flag Gaming fighting back.
It's taking some time. They're inching forward and taking care of here and there. They're getting picks. Is it enough? You also have to deny the resurrect. The Valkyrie in the air. Kelley has been healing everyone. Of course, that ultimate is already up. Mask with 2 before the trade. Walks into a mine. Still, LGE don't have their full set of members to have the best push for this point.
Half their time bank also kind of dissolved already as Raymond is just so safe building into that coalescence, going to allow them to put some pressure down. And look at this Flag Gaming. Look, they're so close to so many weapons in their arsenal. As those come online, they can do so well in a brawl.
Throwing it in. Baiting EMP. Goes for the hack. Onto wands. Would have been funny if you fell into the ocean, but not gonna happen. 2-for-1 trade. Kami, barrage, kill, but still, this kill feed is all for Flag Gaming, who have pushed back LGE time and time again. They gave up enough space to give up the tick, but more time taken off the clock.
Name of the game here for LGE.Huya is play off of the hack, execute. Otherwise, you have to kind of give a fight away for Flag Gaming. Pull as many ults out as possible, because the only thing Flag Gaming doesn't have is the Valkyrie, and they can build that quickly in the coming fight. You only have 1 tick here, so either the EMP is huge or you have to give a fight away and try to pull out ultimates.
Hacker's like, send me to him, I'll do it. Drops the farmers, he cuts the wings down. J-Mac is there with the follow-up, and the Dragon Strike leads the way. And even eats up Bob. Poor old Bob. Mask feeling bad, working so hard for that ultimate just to have it taken away. But LGE, I mean, they don't necessarily, again, have their full kit. Although they had all those picks at the beginning, you have someone like Mask that will shut you down. LGE still won't get anything from that.
And that's what I was talking about right there. Flag Gaming so good when the fight breaks down with this type of composition, and they could just kind of scatter out and solidify those kills. LGE forced back. And now only 40 seconds remain. They still only have that 1 tick. This is Flag Gaming really performing exceptionally well.
Now, can they actually push through? It's the last 30 seconds. They have the ultimates. Now, can they convert this into a W? That's all they need. That's now taking their time to get towards the point. Mask, you have to shut him down, and Kami's playing out of line of sight, so he can't get any value. And then LGE still have to pierce through the shield of the Orisa. They haven't even gone through the first layer of bosses they have to get until they get to Bowser. And LGE, the last few ultimates that they have, the few seconds they have left, is it enough? Kami with the first pick. Kelley denied the resurrect, but it's trades back and forth. Slowly but surely LGE are gonna get this, but they have to stay on the point.
Oh, and in the meantime, Kami and Hacker, they're not dealt with just yet. You can start seeing them pop off and close this fight down, but it's Molly coming out with the sleep dart and the finish. Molly is insane right now.
Actually insane. Few members remain. Oh, there we go. Now I get to actually count. Those are 5 Overwatch heroes on the point. Heading right back to spawn some swapperoos to get ready for plan B and point B.
And that's the 3-2-1. Should be no surprise seeing LGE.Huya swapping over to this composition. This is the type of composition that has just made them so strong over the course of Season 1. And then, you know, we saw them falter a little bit in the Pacific Showdown, but now showing it a little bit more as well. J-Mac instead of the Reinhardt, we see him on the Winston trying to deal with this triple DPS, but look at all of these ultimates stocked up for Flag Gaming. So many options. Ideally, they only have to use 2 to win this fight.
EMPUs gets every single one from Flag Gaming except Shochang, who lays down the Molten Core to zone out the point, prevents some of the space, and then Mask with the Bob takes not only care of the mech, but then the rest of the team as well. But Flag Gaming used everything. Everything, and what did it cost? Well, a defensive win.
Well, I mean, that's still overcommitted right there. Flag Gaming, they didn't prep for that EMP to come out from Hacker, and in doing so, they got 5-man hack. That really should have only been 3 at maximum, and because of that, they really had to try to commit everything they had available just to ward LGE.Huya off. If any kills went in favor of LGE, they would have lost it. So now Flag Gaming gonna have to fight back with variably nothing, whereas LGE.Huya can get aggressive. They have the nano boost. They can throw it onto J-Mac, and then he can build that into a primal as well.
So yeah, they give that nano to J-Mac, who goes after Shochang, preferably the supports, but what do you do about Juan? He's scary. That poke damage alone shut down J-Mac. You hacked Molly, can't sleep dart, can't self-heal, easy kill. Flag Gaming have the right compositions, but also know how to play their roles, as Juan is gonna be the one to fear for this defense.
All right, next fight, I guess. Flag Gaming are able to deal with LGE by taking down J-Mac early, but same thing is going to occur here. LGE.Huya, they want to dive in with J-Mac, send the nano boost over to him, follow up with an EMP very shortly after so that they can get those kills quickly. They want to be explosive in this attack. Flag Gaming, they don't have a defensive ult to deal with it. The only option here for them is try to keep Kelley safe and then buy time for Mask to counter EMP.
And maybe an EMP is what you got to deal with one. Cut those wings down, self-destruct as soon as you do that. As hey, Melons is going to be the one to go down. Don't need an EMP. I'll just hack and then ignore him, take a few bullets to the face, and then I'll try again. Always try again, LGE have a chance, and only a minute 30 to keep trying as the EMP exchange from both sides. One is taken down, and that's that self-destruct I was talking about. LGE can get that first take. They killed Kelley last. Less healing, but Raymond will be coming back with a nano, giving that to Melons for the extra stall, taking time off of this clock, but he can't touch in time.
And now Flag Gaming, I still think this has been a really solid day for them, where we saw them going toe-to-toe with LGE.Huya, again, the Season 1 champions in the control map, and now being able to put a stop to them, forcing them into OT on the first point push. And now point B, we're seeing how they actually were quite solid. They overcommitted, I think, a little bit early there on the point B initial defensive fight, but outside of that, they looked very solid, I think.
It took them so long, though, and I wasn't a fan of rotations on point A. It was very passive, and especially Mask popped off and made it so the FAR just had so little value. So it's like kind of like that snowball, but it's a very heavy one, and you're pushing it like 1 mile an hour. They get the job done, but we'll see if the time bank is what kind of costs them later on.
Yeah, so now as the sides flip, you have to wonder how LGE.Huya is going to be able to deal with that triple DPS. On attack, it's just so strong. We saw how that spread pressure is tough for LGE.Huya, and typically speaking, you're talking about a team that hasn't been very versatile. That's not an adjective you would use to describe LGE.Huya. You're talking about a team that adapts with one single composition more often than not. You see some minute changes to the composition, but overall, it's the playstyle that adjusts that allows LGE.Huya to be so solid in the 3-2-1 with Hacker on the Sombra. Other than that, there are really no adjustments being made outside of maybe a 2-2-2 with Kami picking up a DPS selection. And that's what we see here is the 2-2-2 coming back out. And this time Sven actually going back to the Orisa. So again, like we mentioned before, basically going to have that double main tank option where JMac can play that peel type character on the main tank role.
And it's the perfect counter. You have double shields, and you have Kami on the soldier that can just shoot down one. They knew he was the biggest problem for them. Mask, hey, Hacker was winning those duels, but it's Juan that was the one killing JMac and killing the front line. So this is the comp, how they're going to deal with it.
And there's also a lot of consistent damage too, because even Langza has the ability to provide that extra bit of damage on the Baptiste, and they're almost undivable. It's very, very tough to be able to go for like a Genji Sombra or something like that, like Flag would probably prefer to go.
As Flag Gaming already losing one, somehow Pilly gets away with the resurrect. As you can see, Flag Gaming are towards the right. They could try and lay a bubble down and maybe force LGE to contest them. It's like you said, to dive such a small area is going to be so difficult. You did just see at the corner of your eye Melons go for that. That bubble will be bursted, and LGE will be ready to fight back as soon as they're exposed.
And they push out of the point now. You can see that pressure is now on Flag Gaming, where Melons, you know, without that diva that he would like to have in these dives, still tough to keep him alive here.
Melons is still alive. Valkyrie in the sky. Juan could get ready with a barrage. He rains it down right into the front line of LGE. And it pressures them back. No kills actually converted, but now you have Amplification and Matrix, plus Attack Visor, who fight back, not only take care of the fly from the sky, but also stabilize things only slightly. But there's only an Orisa left from the defense, it seems. Maybe someone adding some support towards the left. Flag Gaming have some members left. They still invest the EMP without Shou Chang. Not as much damage to follow up with it. Pilly gets another resurrect for free, and Flag Gaming get the point.
A fairly quick take there for Flag Gaming, 6 minutes to work with. And due to the fact that they were able to halt LGE down to a minute, this could be a good moment for them to push in. They won't have much momentum to play around with. All they have ult-wise is going to be the Primal Rage, whereas LGE.Huya, they can match that. They have the Supercharger that they can boost up Kami's damage with everybody on the team, obviously. They have the EMP available to them as well. So LGE.Huya should stave off this attack unless something crazy happens with Shou Chang on this Doomfist.
EMP from Hacker at the ready. And JMac is in the corner, not the prime position he wanted to be in, just trying to keep Flag Gaming locked in there. But Melons has Primal. He's ready to brawl with JMac, who has equally the same thing. Flag Gaming has so much time, and if they win this fight, like, look at the time bank difference that it would be. As now they start to break out. EMP starts from Hacker. They need to keep Molly alive, who's taking so much damage too. Flag Gaming, despite the EMP, only lose Shou Chang. But again, the spawns are so far away from the attacking team. This could shut down the fight, and now it has to. You lost your main healer, being the Mercy. Raymond on the Ana could assist, but they just don't have the positioning to keep this one going, and LGE will chase the kills.
Really, though, I think we're used to seeing a little bit more value out of LGE.Huya and their EMP follow-ups. We just haven't really gotten that as much in this series so far. Flag Gaming is just really good about spreading out, making sure that Hacker's only getting a target or two at most, more often than not, and then being able to disengage quickly. So Shou Chang, he's going to swap over to that Genji pick, instead giving the Doomfist up to Juan, and now they're going to be playing into an EMP themselves, have both of the support ults up as well. Could certainly empower Melons as they go aggressively into the back line.
And Nano Tag Visor, as soon as that bubble's bursted, LGE could take this fight. Flag Gaming, they start the Valkyrie. Maybe Mask can shut down this Tag Visor with the EMP. Who knows how Flag Gaming are going to take this next fight. Playing it so safely and patiently as taking care of Hacker now. This could be a free EMP for Mask, who's still looking for the opportunity, as they're just trying to get the kills without needing to use ultimates. As the EMP drops, it didn't catch as much as he would like, and LGE, because of that, fight back with their own ultimates of the Tag Visor. And that's stabilizing now as the defense, and Flag Gaming don't get a single tick from that.
Yeah, that's 3 ultimates versus the 1 expended by LGE. So not the best look from Flag Gaming, who really wanted more value out of that. Now you'll see Shou Chang kind of being the pillar for this team's attack, at least in the next fight here, where they're going to have the Blade, but he could get shut down by a hack, Vanilla, or just the EMP from Hacker as well. And We talked about how Hacker, he's only gotten a couple of targets here and there, hasn't really gotten those big EMPs we're used to seeing from Season 1, but all he needs to hit in this next fight is Shochang and ideally Melons if he can pull that off as well.
By gaming, not a ton of time left to at least make them still have an advantage. EMP from Hacker, LGE following up perfectly. For Flag Gaming, it felt like more of a dry fight anyway. They need to work up towards the Nano to assist Shochang, because especially against a Brig, he needs all the help he can get.
Yeah, really, you want all three, I think, at this point. I think you give up some of the time bank to just secure the fact that you can equalize in about a minute's time. That's, I think, the best approach for Flag Gaming right now. They could go aggressively, they could go all in, but that's a dice roll. It's a gamble to try to win this next fight aggressively when you know LGE, if you're tracking, they have the sound barrier that you cannot EMP back in return to deal with your blade that's coming, and Nano Boost not online, you can't get those one-shot Swift Strike resets as well with Shochang.
And not only working up towards these ultimates, but taking them out of LGE, making them use them first and see how you survive through it. But going for a blade without waiting for the Nano, that was actually pretty close. Even the EMP is close. He gets hacked. Shochang gets little to no value with it. Thankfully, they're able to converge as a team. LGE do lose one. They use the barrier, but they lose the mech from Sven. No peeling for him despite being in their own backline. Flag Gaming get hit with an EMP, but they still remain in control of the point.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of those letter numbers right there, I think, this time for LGE. So still time banks mostly equal here for both sides, and we'll have to see what the final numbers were on that. But either way, LGE.Huya, they have at least kind of taken enough away on that point B defense where things are equal, and now we can start from scratch and see how they approach it this time around.
Kind of surprising, the misplays from both sides. The blade, I mean, 25% away from the Nano. And I've talked to teams that sometimes use the blade without the Nano, and sometimes just you trust your Genji when they identify an opportunity for a kill. Sometimes the Genjis will still go for that despite not having the Nano, and at least then you save it for someone else like your Winston. But then how the defense kind of reacted to it, they shut down Shochang, or like the blade, didn't get the follow-up kill with it. Then Sven lost the mech despite like being in a pretty safe position. So, and then not even getting the deny of the point, even though they got the kills coming their way for the defense. A little bit surprising.
Yeah, they went for the high-risk play for sure. You go ahead, you pull the blade out, you send your Mercy aggressively in. Again, another high-risk move to send your Mercy in like that off of the blade. Hope that you can then build the Nano Boost, and then you can ideally either give it to the Genji so you can get another blade. Probably not the best case scenario, but instead you could give it to Melons, and then you have a really good shot of being able to sustain the momentum that you're creating with that initial blade. Again, a very big dice roll, high-risk play that Flag Gaming came out with. Luckily, though, for them, it worked out. Here, though, we have minute 26 versus a minute. Initially here, LGE looking to try to get this first point cap at the very minimum.
Playing so aggressive, like actually sprinting out of the gates, already towards the right side. Now they can work on this poke damage, and perfect line of sight almost gets the finish onto Juan. And Kami taking a lot of damage. Holy cow, Juan fighting right back. Now a bit of a messy fight as LGE don't have a shield, they don't have their main DPS provider, so they will just take a step back. Not a lot of time though.
Not at all, and you have to wonder if LGE.Huya can even get in there and do this one. I mean, they need to get that Nano Boost available. That means that Sven and JMac have to kind of soak a little bit of pressure. Well, they could do that versus Juan, but as soon as this barrage comes out, I'm sure Juan wants to use this aggressively. They have to get the pick instantly, get the hook, get the hack, do something.
Okay, someone is touching. Whoo! We got that down. Hacker is there. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Melons with an amazing barrage. Still, you have a Mercy left from the attack. It's one tick going through. Hacker got it for absolutely free. Finally, Flag Gaming will react. They disengage, they set up their shield, but now still LGE are pushing forward. They even got the space to get the resurrect. But now with the Torb, this is going to be hard to dive, and even harder when you don't get on the point.
So Flag Gaming, I mean, this is a winnable scenario for them. They are able to make the stop on point A, but you have to wonder, is that late rotation that they were kind of forced to take? I mean, if they rotate early and send someone back, they might lose that fight entirely. So they make the safe play, go for the safe call, and allow that first tick to go through. But again, like I mentioned before, is it going to bite them going forward? Are they not going to be able to get that first tick? Are they not going to have the opportunity to let this even be a draw and instead take a loss here if they're not able to find value in their first attack? Like, they only have a minute 30 or a minute 26 rather, to be exact.
Yeah, losing. I think they lost their Orisa and their soldier. Although if that soldier would have got that the far kill early, could have been good. Maybe resable. Playing really aggressive off the bat can be risky. Of course, they did lose 2 and then were not able to push. In the last 20 seconds, the only reason they got anything was because Hacker got ignored. They maybe didn't even notice someone was capping. Probably could have even gotten more. But at least they got something, but it was due to a back cap. And with a minute, it's still winnable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm wondering if LGE.Huya wants to go for that same bunker defense approach on point A. That's something that if they play back point like we saw them doing on their initial defense, this is actually a good move for them. They already have control, so all they have to do is play point and make sure that they can push Flag Gaming off. Obviously, with a minute 26, Flag Gaming, they want to get at least one body on there to contest. But as they do, that'll be an open target for LGE.Huya to try to deal with and isolate as best they can. And again, that is the composition that they're going for, and they are indeed playing that back point position.
And playing very far back, and Kami just denying Juan, which I'm surprised Juan continuously wants to play far into this heavy hit scan defense, having to play out of line of sight. Thankfully, he hasn't gotten picked too much, but to have the need to use the Resurrect when maybe you could just go for something else. But for the poke damage of far, Juan is most comfortable on the far. He's going to be advancing forward, but I think got hacked and immediately grounded from Kami. That first take about to go through from Flag Gaming until LGE reset up their defense. And now they're looking for more. Shou Chang is getting supported from his Mercy, but he's a little bit by himself.
Yeah, LGE.Huya actually kind of dispatching now, but Flag Gaming diving in. They're still very low, though. They can't really go for that heavy-handed punch if they can. They have to get it right now. They got to get the blade up. Shou Chang coming alive.
Oh, coming alive. At least the rest of his team join him to support him. It's so back and forth. A 2 versus 2 on the point. Melon's about to give it up. J-Mac has the nano. Shou Chang with the blade. Can he turn this around? It's a 1v3. Molly shuts it down. And there is that overtime going away. One last hurrah from Flag Gaming. And LGE hold the defense up until Flag Gaming stop coming in. EMP from one last hurrah. But there is LGE taking it.
And honestly, Molly has just been a staple on their defenses, particularly on the Ana. This is the guy that we constantly give props to on the Ana specifically. Really, really solid on this character. You can see his positioning really benefiting the team as he actually pulled the Genji away and then took him down in isolation while the Genji had blade. So huge plays there.
We're going to bring back our expert analyst, Naori. It's 2-0 for LGE. What do you think went wrong, or what did you think went right in this series?
Well, the first thing that I just kind of want to point out is you were talking about Molly, and I kind of mind blown when they ran that quad DPS right in the beginning there with Molly on the Tracer. That was insane. But of course, they did realize pretty quickly that the solo healer meant that they weren't going to be able to survive all of the spam. So they swapped Molly back over onto the Ana. I felt like LGE, the biggest thing for them is they have fantastic follow-up on their ultimates. We saw this on just about every single round. They really, really know how to do that, and that's a place where Flag is kind of lacking. We would see EMPs and nothing comes of it, you know? Any kind of an ultimate, there's not too much follow-up. So they really struggled in that department. I found LGE's defense, their very first defense, and I suppose the second defense, quite interesting. They held very far back, which is great because it gave Soldier so many sight lines. He could see just about everything, and it really helped against the Pharah. But trade to that is that they give up so much space. And on the first defense, you could see they really struggled because of it. They actually lost that point fairly quickly. But on the second round, they kind of figured out where to watch for, where to wait and see where the rest of the team is going to be coming from. And they managed to pull off that full hold. It was actually quite fantastic. Really a pleasure to watch there. And really happy to see a bit more Soldier play. We don't see him too much. But as you guys mentioned, a great counter to that Pharah pick.
Yeah, I think a big dynamic that was changed was the fact that it was the lower time bank. I mean, given more time, I think you would have seen the blade come online, some of those options come through for the attacking side for Flag Gaming, and they would have been able to execute. But otherwise, it's not going to work out for them here. You can see how on the attack for initially for LGE, they were able to finally get this cap, but as they were stalled out, Flag Gaming, again, I think were good when they had control. It's just a question of if they had a little bit more time for that attack, I think they would have been able to execute and get that tick that they needed to steal away this map here.
And there's some of those ultimate combinations Naori was talking about. The EMP and the self-destruct along with Sven was what got the point for LGE. I liked Mask's Ash a little more. Going up against Hacker is a tough task. We're going to send it to a quick break, and we will see if Flag Gaming can bring this one back. We'll see you soon. LGE are up 2-0 over Flag Gaming. Still a close series. I feel like the score doesn't explain first and second place teams, and even how Paris was down to the last tick.
Yeah, I mean, something that I've noticed for Flag Gaming over the course of the season has been that Melons has looked fairly solid. I mean, this was supposed to be a big matchup, seeing him up against JMac and seeing how they contended with each other, and the team certainly seems to have a good deal of confidence in Melons. But now I think even more so. I mean, you don't even have an off tank to help him out. He's going in alone more often than not, and Shochang has been the person that they're relying on, the kind of Swiss Army knife of this roster right now to kind of assist in some ways off of the dive, and that's pretty much what they've been playing, is the dive.
And remember at the start of the series how Flag Gaming are incorporating 2 new players of Juan and Raymond, and we already said it, maybe it takes them some time, maybe they gel right in, and you can see how much confidence they have in Juan because he's been only playing Pharah this whole time. And a Pharah Widow defense is interesting, and I know they have Molly ready on the Moira for this potential poke damage.
So this time around, Orisa coming back out for side of Flag Gaming on their defense at the moment, and again pulling that Torb out as JMac, he gets slept
immediately too, and not woken up, but they get dropped from the high ground to the low, and Shochang finds 2, but resurrected back in is the Ana player, so Flag Gaming stabilized for the moment.
And taking a minute off the clock in doing so, but LGE, I like this adaptation being made here. Molly coming out on the Moira as opposed to the Ana or the Zenyatta that we've seen from them. And this is, I think, a much better approach and a nice turret position there for Shochang if you haven't seen that one before.
Sneaky.
And, yeah. So now Flag Gaming, though, again, they have to deal with the Moira. The Coalescence going to come up. That's going to put pressure onto Juan. That's something that they haven't had to deal with as much from the support players. And Molly can definitely put that kind of work in.
Now LGE going for that dive again, using the Coalescence to lead the way. Is the first take about to go through, but there's Flag Gaming with the Molten Core, with the Barrage. This is the map where he can truly have the freedom he wants to pop off.
And he's doing just that. LGE, they're definitely going to need ultimates to be able to secure this. They're not going to be able to just push in with a single one like Coalescence and turn a fight. They need a lot more than that. Flag Gaming just so solid when they're actually in control, and on defense a lot of times they are. So putting the stop initially here, both support ults now at the ready. Supercharger coming up for Melons as well. LGE, on the other hand, really kind of relying on the EMP, I think, in a lot of ways, as they've now swapped Molly off onto the Zenyatta instead, looking for that kind of really strong attack with the Discord Orb to back up the damage.
There, EMP, like you said, ready. How are they gonna get at this defense? Flag Gaming have been so comfortable. And you can see that JMac was just ready to sleep, I think missed. And this is where now you just have to use the Primal at this point. Actually, they go with the EMP first. The Nano's given to the Orisa, but can't save you from finding the bottom of the map. And with that second and final tick, LGE, get that payload ready.
So LGE, they secure it. Now they can go forward, and this is the comp that you really want to be playing in this next stage of the map by having JMac able to dive in with Sven. You have Hacker on the Sombra. This is going to be a good look, I think, for LGE. Certainly better than that first point where Flag Gaming can hold on the high ground. It's hard to take them off of that position. Now you take the fight to the ground, and this is where LGE should play a lot better.
Dives have been clean from LGE, and even against an anti-dive type of composition they had earlier, to just deny one and deny this high ground that Flag Gaming are trying to set up, it seems. Now dropping back down. LGE get ready to engage here with the barriers. Sven's ready with the self-destruct to send it into the back. Juan is above with the barrage and actually, I would say up, maybe closer to the ground. And that was easy killings in LGE, throwing more ultimates to push to that final part of point B.
Now the ultimate rotations start coming into play as well. And this is where LGE.Huya is so good. This is what they have practiced for all of 2019. I mean, this is the type of thing that they are so solid with. And the only change they're making is having JMac instead of on the Reinhardt, he's on the Winston. But you know JMac would much prefer to be on the Winston anyway. So this works out in their favor. I think in a lot of ways now, going through this next section of the map, LGE.Huya should continue this, although the one thing that could stop them is Shochang back on the Doomfist here and has caused a lot of disruption and chaos for LGE.Huya.
Oh, it's canceled! Hacker's EMP was canceled! I don't know who I have to give the MVP award to, but someone from Flag Gaming is gonna get it. And now Shochang and Juan canceled from this fight. We're about to hype them up. LG, despite the EMP failing, they're still bringing in these kills. JMac leads the way with the Primal. Pilly getting killed last. Now it's up to Raymond and the Nano and how he's going to give this to Melons or Shochang to lead the one last fight coming up for Flag Gaming.
3 minutes remaining. Flag Gaming have a lot of options. All their support ults rolling out as LGE. Look at this. They're sustaining. They're sustaining, and they have Transcendence even still.
Shochang's smart enough to not go after a break, no matter what kind of power boost you're getting from a Nano, and the Mercy probably helping him. He gets hacked, and they get off the point.
Uh-oh. We've been here before. We've seen this. We've seen this
maybe a few
highlight.
times a series. A few too many times.
Yeah, but we will see LGE.Huya, again, as we mentioned, looking a lot better in the second and third stages. It's just that first point where it's going to be a little bit harder for them to work with that 3-2-1 composition, and especially when they're trying to rotate Molly into the fight as well, because he's going to be exposed, particularly by one on the Pharah pick. So I think on defense, this is going to look similar, where point one is going to be hard to defend unless they change up how they approach it. They could go for an odd selection of heroes together to create an interesting composition like we saw back on Paris, but then we'll see the swap if they do play something different to the 3-2-1, and again, LG should look good on second and third.
Still, there's some bright spots for Flag Gaming. Juan, especially on the point, popping off, holding the defense almost by himself. And then they were able to cancel Hacker's EMP at the end of point C, which even though that happened, that was really cool. But LG still won the fight despite not having that EMP on the back of JMac, kind of carrying the team in that regard with the Primal going forward. Flag Gaming, we didn't get a good look on how they were trying to re-engage at the end of point C. They made some adjustments, but how they take this attack is going to matter even more.
Yeah, it purely comes down to ultimate rotation and momentum that was created early on second. Going into that final phase, we're rounding the corner. Yes, you are able to stop the hack or the EMP from going off, but that's not enough. You have to get something else rolling. They had the triple support ults going out. Everything that you could possibly send to Melons, you had it on him, and still no pressure being exerted. So LG.Huya back up. They have economy advantage at that stage. So Flag Gaming now on their attack. You can see Shochang. He's currently on the Doomfist. Looks like he's going to make the swap now onto the Genji as LG.Huya. Sven, we have him on the Torb yet again.
Going Genji into a Pharah defense is a little spooky.
And a Torb.
Then I get and Torb, just there's so much poke damage. Who is he gonna dive after? It seems like the supports at the moment, but he takes in a lot of damage. Melons is hacked, is immediately finished off. Shochang goes after the supports just like he's supposed to, but in a 1-to-1 trade, Flag Gaming don't have really the position to keep this one going.
So despite getting a couple of kills and getting Melons back up, they can re-engage quickly at the very least. That's their, I guess, silver lining as Shochang coming back from respawn. LG.Huya just stabilizing, getting back into position as Mask is rolling around here on the Hanzo. You can see the same approach actually being made by Shochang. So they're taking that same angle as you're going to see them trying to deal with the turret, but still, you're going to have to close that gap and close that distance quickly if you're going to want to be able to dive in. Otherwise, your Genji's going to be very much exposed.
I would just rather see a Diva than a Genji. The only diveable target for Shochang is Molly, and then he will most likely have a 1-to-1 trade. They get on the point, they get a free tick. JMac is going to be resurrected back in, so that's a shield that at least LGE can depend on. But to get this set up, there's so much pressure on the JMac.
Absolutely. So he has to play this safe. Luckily for him, the rest of his team is getting some kills. So not much to worry about pressure-wise when you're really the only person left on the point. I mean, Flag Gaming was cleared from it. So now we see some swaps coming in. Mask actually going back over to the Ash. So we saw him on Paris. And this is going to be a lot of AoE pressure that can be sent up over the top of the shield. Very similar to what we're going to get from Juan, although now you have it doubly so, and Shochang diving in off of that once they soften some of those targets up.
I like that. Mask back in, though. I like that, too. And also, like, 6 ultimates for the defense. Looking pretty spicy on how they're going to hold this next minute 40. But Mask was so terrifying on Paris on this particular hero of the Ash. Hacker, ready to do just what his name says. Finally, we actually nailed the pronunciation after some time. EMP at the ready. And I mean, there's no Beard, there's no Zen, but he wants to nail these supports and just waiting for the right moment. They're wasting their own time, so Hacker doesn't have to engage first. Gets the vanilla hack onto Mask, and the finish off is there. Conserving that EMP is pretty smart.
And you have to wonder if Flag Gaming, I mean, I would imagine they want to disengage here, and that's what they do as Mask actually goes over to the Hanzo yet again. They want, I think, more shield pressure so that they can drop that, take the turret down, and then Shochang can go in for the dive. But this is the only moment Flag Gaming has here. They have their ultimates, but so does LGE.Huya, and this is going to be tough because Molten Core could stave off the Blade.
Nano Blade gets 2 automatically. Hacker tried to shut it down with the EMP, so you only stop the beast for the moment. And now he's going to deal with your Orisa. The final take goes through for Flag Gaming at the last second. And all those pretty flashing lights of the ultimates from LGE, not enough to hold.
So LGE, I mean, it seemed like they had a pretty good shot there. If they were going to be able to get that EMP off, instantly shut down the Blade, make sure that he couldn't be mobile on the Genji. And then on top of that, just drop a bunch of Molten Core lava all over his feet, and you would have easily been able to deal with that and just try to control from there. Maybe you keep your tank alive as well. But LGE, we talked about it already, how they're just going to be super strong in the second and third phases of this map. But you have to deal with Juan on the Pharah, and they don't have a direct answer for that. That could be the thing that catches them off guard.
Yeah, a little bit surprised. Yeah, they go with the 3-2-1, but why not the Moira? Because you have a lot of poke damage coming in, especially a dive. That Fade could help a lot. But the Zenyatta Transcendence, buying them a second life potentially, is just now going for poke. They're just trying to build up these ultimates. LG playing this slow, taking care of the main tank of Flag Gaming means now it's even harder for them to dive. Shochang doesn't want to go in without his Winston, and Juan and Mask now have to work together to see if they can get the pick, or at least make sure that they don't get spawn camped.
Barrage at the ready, Dragon Strike at the ready, Blade coming up, Primal Rage coming up. Flag Gaming, if ever there was an opportunity for them to win a fight simply, this was going to be it. LGE.Huya have no answers at the moment. If you're playing for time here, LGE, they could build into the EMP and find those answers that they're looking for.
JMac has been having fun into the back line. He gets finished off. There's the Blade from Shochang going right after the Brig. So confident in his plays, and Juan lining them up for him. The ultimates they needed, expending quite a bit, I think 3 or 4. But they will advance to point B.
Yeah, 3 used there. They do capture point B with it. You can see LGE.Huya, they wanted to go forward, but they just didn't have everybody off of respawn just yet. JMac turns around, but now things are equalized in terms of the economy. Ultimates basically set apart now. Lingon Esports, Huya up top, dropping in from the high ground, already looking for Juan.
This is an early fight, and somehow he blows himself up. Not a good start. Maybe going for the Resurrect. There it is. Valkyrie for the extra resources to take this fight back. LGE, get ready to set up the EMP, but the Transcendence is triggered first. EMP layered on top. Flag Gaming trying to get out, and Molly's frontlining as the Zenyatta player with the Primal Rage, I believe, at least JMac with the Primal Rage by his side. Is temporarily halted with that barrage from Juan. Still not enough to stop the sheer aggression from LGE.
So they pull back now. Pulse Bomb coming up for Kami. At the moment, it only does 300. It's soon going to do 350, but That means you can't really stick it to a tank. Gotta try to see if you can get in and try to find Raymond in the back line, or even Juan to deny that Brig. That ruins their ability to brawl in some of these fights by eliminating that particular player.
LGE playing so far forward and aggressive. J-Mac disrupting the formation of this attack with a Primal. And without an Orisa, Flag Gaming are just completely exposed. The silver lining is that with this dry fight, they've worked themselves up to a Nano Blade. But not a lot of time if this doesn't work.
Yeah, I still don't know that that's enough, because Soundbear is coming up. Soundbear is already ready. Transcendence is now ready. We see the EMP. They could shut down completely Shochang's ability to be able to be mobile and try to dash around and get those kills. So they could disengage from him. And on top of that, he's not going to have that one-shot potential because of the sound barrier. And then he can't even follow up because the Transcendence should be there as well.
A double stun comp from now Flag Gaming with the McCree. I'm liking it. LG have been playing way too aggressive. You need to punish it. Speaking of that, Shochang goes for Blade, countered by Transcendence. Easy money, but EMP from Hacker. Seeing if it can now hold the defense even stronger. As Shochang still playing aggressive despite not having any support. And supports in the healing department. It's down to the last 20 seconds, Flag Gaming, last minute adjustments.
And they're also making sure that they can ferry Molly over to the point, quickly get him into position. Kami so close to that pulse bomb, and in the last fight, Langza was able to hold on to the sound barrier. So Flag Gaming, I don't know if they have the lethality to win not just this fight, but they have to win another fight as well just after this.
It's just awkward with the Lucio and a Rizicon. That's the swaps that I was talking about, but Molly picking one off. It's a 1-to-1 as LGE will not let go of this payload. Flag Gaming maybe coming up to another blade, but J-Mac cannot be stopped. Double stun who? Mask is out of the picture. Brig is hacked, can't stun him either. But Flag Gaming got the kills they need. They can push a little bit further. In overtime, no more mistakes, and Shochang needs all the help he can get.
Well, he deflected the pulse bomb from Kami, and now they have that blade that you're saying. I mean, now they need the kills quickly. He sees Hacker, but that's not it. They need to stay on the point too. They can't have that same fault that they had on defense.
You don't have the nano, you don't have the damage reduction that can help him a little bit more, and he's already took some damage at the start. Eats the EMP, so this was more of a scare factor than any kills that he could have converted, as LGE will be able to have the Transcendence. It will keep the Diva and Hacker alive for the second, as Flag Gaming now down in resources, trying to fight this one back. They only have 2 left on the point as Mask is finished off into the backline of LGE. Sven will use the self-destruct. This will clear Flag Gaming off for the cart, even get a kill. Flag Gaming not able to contest any longer, and LGE will take the series 3-0.
That blade had to be it there for them. Shochang just hit a wall twice, and then the last one was on the dash, so was not able to actually pull that one out.
As we bring back our expert analyst, Naori, for their thoughts about Flag Gaming, making it close, making adjustments. But what did you think about Shochang's Genji? Was it the right call?
Hard to say. I feel like the pick potential from the Genji and the potential from the Genji Nano Blade was really strong. The problem was that they played the composition way too slowly. They spent the whole game, every single attack, they kind of spent it building up the Genji Blade. That was they kind of made that their only win condition instead of just like winning a neutral fight. And so because they played it so slowly and they relied so heavily on Shochang, if he didn't pop off, they didn't win the fight. And it was basically what happened in that last fight as well. Okay, the Diva Bomb kind of helped with the zoning to make sure nobody could touch the point. But that was an issue. There's a lot of win potential with that ultimate, but if you're relying solely on one win condition as opposed to like a couple so that you have like a backup plan, then yes, you are going to be consistently shut down. And they got shut down when it mattered, because while they were able to take first point, they were able to take the first checkpoint, they couldn't close it out. LGE caught wise to their strategy, kept the Diva Bomb, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, they were able to hold on really, really strongly. I feel like LGE's comp on their attack was just the perfect counter. You would think that you would run the Moira. You kind of mentioned it as well, running the Moira into spam just to kind of get that extra healing. But Molly, the combination of the Discord orb and the fact that Molly just kind of frags, it really made up for the fact that there was lower healing, because you don't have to heal if the enemy team is dead.
Very true.
Yeah, and this was a map type that certainly played into. I mean, if you were going to get any of the maps in the pool to try to give you the benefit on this kind of payload, the hybrid, this was going to be the one on Numbani. You can see Flag Gaming starting things off strong earlier on, but again, as things go down into that payload-esque type style where you're talking about linear map, you're talking about really taking the fight to the ground, that's where Flag Gaming is going to fall off, and that's where you're going to see Hacker have a tremendous impact, especially with JMac at the helm as well.
And Juan has been sporting the Pharah like 99% of the time. Is it what Flag Gaming needed? LGE starting to adapt, and you saw them doing that there. It is 3-0. We have a final map to see if Flag Gaming can help their score. We're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. We're heading into our final map of the final day, the final match of the day. There we go. LGE.Huya up 3-0 over Flag Gaming. Score is one-sided. The fights haven't been it's so close between these two teams. First and second place of the group. We'll see if Flag Gaming can get rid of that 0.
This has still been a pretty close matchup, particularly on the first two maps. We'll see if this triple DPS comp that we expect to come out for Flag Gaming is going to be enough to turn things around, at least on Rialto here, to get them a map win, help out their map differential. Although, as I said before, this is still one of those scary maps where the Sombra just is so effective here. And I still think that this is going to be something that Flag Gaming has to worry about. And you can see they actually got off of the triple DPS. Instead, they have the Brig in play from Shochang.
And Mask is still on the Ashe, although maybe one of his favorite heroes, the Widowmaker, would have been better at range, especially if you're going to be playing farther back. But maybe trying to play next to Melons, get that Bob up as LGE. It's going to be a little bit tough for Kami to kind of find the right line of sight to funnel through this small corridor. We're getting a lot more freedom for the defense at this initial part.
LGE working their way through at the moment. So far have yet to really be stopped. The payload has been kind of constantly in motion at the moment, and as Melons gets hacked, that's an exposed frontline target for them to go for. Luckily, though, for them, Flag Gaming, Juan particularly getting the kills as he's the one out in front getting aggressive.
But I like that Kami's now contesting the Pharah with a Pharah. Before, that's usually the guy who brings out the soldier. And if he's not winning these Pharah duels, maybe I would expect him to go back to the hit scan.
I'm curious to see if that's going to be the case. Actually, we do see a swap. Sven is going to go over to the Hog. I think they just want to press the advantage of just going in with the halt hook combo, and they can catch Melons out. All they have to do is wait for the fortify, and Melons becomes a simple target to go for, or you could go for anybody that's behind him as well freely.
Oh, maybe that's how you counter a Forest. Just go for the halt hook right there. Got himself out, I think, with the concussive blast. Now the nano from LGE is used. Hacker follows up with the EMP. Flag Gaming had a Valkyrie in the sky, but they're so dispersed from the initial attack of LGE that they can't get a good group up maybe before the end of point A. But with an Orisa comp, it's so hard to just run back fast.
Yeah, you kind of need a Bob to be able to actually push that through, but Mask needs to get a little bit more damage, particularly with the Dynamite if he can, to try to see if they can get that online, but I don't think it's going to come in time.
Yeah, it's the trouble with the Orisa comps. You'd love to stall. You're used to running back in those moments with the Rien 3-3. But there's that Bob, making the space for Mask, contesting, I believe, the cart temporarily right next to it. Oh, I like that he has a name to himself. I've never seen a Bob in Chinese Contenders. I'm so pumped. But LGE, meanwhile, as I'm impressed by silly things, LGE got pushed right back into their spawn.
Well, luckily it's not a long walk. It's not a long trek for them at all. Whereas with Flag Gaming, if they lose a fight here, you're talking about the cart moving all the way to that front corner at the very minimum, where again, it's a decent spot for the defense to play off of. So this is okay that they're holding bridge here. The only thing is that you really want to shave off a lot of time if you can, so you have a good shot of being able to hold on second.
Oh, this barrage could just rain down on JMac, or maybe everyone behind him. The sleep misses from Molly, gets a second and the third. Flag Gaming, halt this cart.
And they've basically become a brick wall, right? LGE.Huya, they were just waltzing it through, and then all of a sudden they are really struggling, and now they make the swap where Sven is actually going to go ahead and make the swap as well. They're going to go to the 3-2-1. And again, Rialto, as things become linear, just as we saw before, they should do a lot better here, but they need to start building into their ultimate rotation. It's going to take some time to get there. Flag Gaming might be okay for some time.
There's Molly with the nano given forward. I think J-Mac is benefiting, and he actually zones off the Mercy, decides not to go for that kill. The Valkyrie allows Pilly to escape. As with that space created from LGE, they're able to advance this card, but this has been a pretty solid defense from Flag Gaming up until they get hit with the EMP. And even Hacker hacks him twice to make sure they take care of one who's actually not died despite that. But stuck into this building, that's not where Afar is going to thrive. But Flag Gaming getting those picks with that Ashe, who's been keeping the people at Bridge at bay, gets ready with the Bob, and this could be another fight win for them.
Bob engaged, but stuck in the corner. I think they would have liked it to be a little bit further out, especially now that it gets booped in by Kami. So not going to have a good sight line for very many targets of LGE.Huya. Although at least it does delay the cart because it is close enough in proximity to actually contest.
J-Mac just breaks right into their castle with the Primal. Fortunately, that sleep from Raymond didn't hit, but one has been lights out on this Pharah. This is what forced Kami off onto something else. And against a Brig, this is tough. I don't know how much the Brig can do against a composition like this.
Yeah, you really have to get up in their face, and it's going to be kind of that anti-dive setup where LGE, when J-Mac and Sven go in, you're looking to try to get that instant burst damage onto one of them. But as long as they're able to get the DM up, if it's not the Diva, or the barrier up, if it's not the Winston, they should be able to protect each other.
Yeah, Kami, though, is taking so much poke damage. That's the Brig I'm more concerned about, because yes, the armor to help J-Mac need that extra healing during these dives. Kami is a lot scarier on the soldier back on Paris, where now Hacker is the one to fear because he has that EMP and he hacks Billy. Raymond trying to protect him as they can't be staggered if they want a chance at contesting point B, but Mask is out, he had Bob, Pilly's dead, and Raymond's the only healer left if Flag Gaming want to contest point B.
So the cart goes forward, rounds that dangerous corner, and Juan now needs to be a little bit careful here. He's going to take that really, really high skybox positioning, and now the EMP goes out. They don't catch the Pharah.
But at least they canceled the Bob, so it has some value there, and J-Mac is so far in deep and has Primal if he needed to get back. And there's nothing Flag Gaming could do. They even have some people still left over. There was no call to disengage, and now they're just old batteries.
So LGE quickly capture out point B after that first fight win after the bridge, and now going forward into the final phase, they do have both of their tank ults online. Flag Gaming going to be battling back as they actually are making swaps. Mask not any longer on the Ashe, instead going for the Sombra, actually trying to take Hacker on 1v1, maybe even try to shut down J-Mac in the front or Sven as they dive forward.
And especially when your Bob could get hacked and slept, he brought a lot of value just with his hit scan alone. We'll see. LGE in the last minute of the game going after Pilly, hacking him. This is the kill they need to take. And now next is Raymond, slaps him right back to the Shadow Realm, and LGE taking care of the resources of the defense late. Or get hit by mines actually from Melons, or I thought I saw that. Doesn't matter. I saw the payload go home, and Flag Gaming watched it go by.
Yeah, Flag Gaming, a really solid effort on that point B defense initially as they re-engaged right outside of the spawn door on the bridge and held it there for quite some time. I mean, it was something like 2 minutes that they were able to hold the cart down and extended that as much as they could. Unfortunately, momentum gained by the 3-2-1 of LGE.Huya, and we talked about it before. We'll say it again. The ultimate rotation, once you give that control over to LGE.Huya, they will not let it go.
Flag Gaming had a decent enough defense at point B. That was some time spent there. I don't know the exact amount of minutes, but I think LG is still finished with time, but not as much time and not as much of a speed run as the previous maps were.
Yeah, this is still a very close matchup despite the 3-0 already in favor of LGE.Huya. I mean, they've won this decisively, but overall, the gameplay has been very close. I mean, Ilios could have gone either way. We saw how Paris could have gone either way. Certainly, Nimbani was a one-sided affair to a degree, I think. But still, that was even rather close, I would say, where we could have seen that gone into further rounds and maybe something turns around. But this, I think, is a good moment here, Rialto. I think they've made good map selections while being down and having the choice where we could see maybe a comeback being mounted here.
We would love to see that. But the first, it starts with finishing the map. Because then we have to go to extra innings if Flag Gaming want to turn this around and maybe have a better time bank. As we will head into the map shortly. Let's see on this attack, the double sniper. Really, usually the Raymond has been playing support, maybe looking for that initial pick before a swap. Pilly solo healing for the moment. And now that's extra pressure, extra weight on Kami's shoulders as a Phora to need to dip, dive, and dodge away from all that damage.
And this is that kind of classic week 2 version. Oh, Melon's actually almost caught out. Yeah, this is the classic week 2 version of Flag Gaming where they're playing this 3-tank setup. And with the 2 DPS, they're actually only playing the Mercy as heals, but back and forth.
Even slept him into the lake. Sven's back. We got this. Halt and Hook looking solid for the defense. Shochang out of mech. And maybe this is like a hero I've wanted to see from Shochang. Remember on Numbani, I was like, the Genji's great to assist Melons on these dives, but the D.Va's probably what they needed most. And the triple tank, I think, should work once they get a foot on how to set this up or they stop getting halted and hooked.
LGE.Huya, I mean, this is very similar to the bridge defense that we saw from Flag Gaming, where on the other side of a bridge, you just can't get across. And on top of that, they're utilizing the environment this time. LGE.Huya really, really solid at just pulling targets off of the side as well, or at least forcing that to be a factor Flag Gaming have to be able to contend with.
Halt and Hook stopped so far. Now you can see that Flag Gaming gonna let their snipers get into the right position. Look at Raymond, he's behind them. Thankfully, he got dealt with. But Kami was able to equalize that score earlier on. Resurrect's going through for the offense. They can set up their shield. As LGE, I'd love to see how far away they are. Yep, pretty far from contesting that point A.
So it's quite a distance still to cover, but they're now back onto that triple DPS. Still, though, with that halt hook combination, and Raymond actually once again flanking as he did before.
Now there's the hacker EMP dropping down to Flag Gaming, and Juan can't heal. Sven zones everyone off, gets the 2. And Flag Gaming, they work so hard for all that space, and LGE take it right back.
So Flag Gaming with 1:40 remaining. They do have, if they can catch someone with the halt hook, they can then turn it immediately, push forward off of a supercharger, whole hog. That's what they want to do here. They want to be explosive off of a connected hook, but it requires that one hits the hook. So there's going to be some setup involved, but if they can nail it, and certainly there's some shutdown here from LGE where you can see them holding inside the house. There's no halt hook combo that can come out there.
And good fortified to dodge that hook from Juan. And hooked back in is LGE, executing that better for the moment. But Flag Gaming had that shield break, they had the whole hog. They just have to support him in his hopes and dreams, and that's how they're going to push LGE back, unless Kami can surprise them with a barrage.
So halted now to 50 seconds, and that is it. Flag Gaming pulling in. They do catch Molly, 6v5 advantage, and no Ana.
Oh. And no Orisa, no shield. Flag Gaming don't need to use any more. And Mask is okay. That was filthy. Now they can get point A. Focus on the next move.
So 3 minutes on the clock for them. A much better looking time bank. And now also finding that late pick onto Sven, getting the res off as well. They can go forward. They don't have to worry about that same bridge defense that they faltered on initially coming out of their own spawn on point A, something that they were able to accomplish actually on their defense here. Though, Lingon Esports, they are back onto this composition, this double flanker. Kami on the Tracer. And again, the map has become linear. Flag Gaming don't have the ability to take advantage of the multi-angle threat that they're used to.
J-Mac forced to react as he got halted down, but maybe that's not what Melons wanted, because he immediately got costed his own life and won. As Flag Gaming, missing their front line, have a lot of space to make up for, and it's maybe up to Mask and Raymond to get on this high ground and find these exposed targets of LGE if they can, or just swap to something else.
Yeah, good swaps. Good swaps there. Raymond's going to be swapping as well. The issue still becomes that now you're going 3-3 versus the 3-2-1, and this is the most practiced composition that LGE is used to and then playing against as well. So you're kind of playing into them a little bit.
Yeah, they just have to take this EMP and go again. Just with this new comp swap, they're working towards energy, working towards ults. The silver lining is that they died quick enough.
So now they get another good shot, but again, rolling these ultimates along. And Flag Gaming, they swapped at the right time. I mean, 2 minutes is a good time, but as LGE, they're going to be able to build these EMPs out. These fights are going to drain quickly, and they're not going to have too many opportunities, and they have to win what is likely to be 2 fights given the cart's position here before they're able to cap out. So they have to make sure that once they have that shot, they're efficient so that they can continue with momentum and get a second fight win under the belt.
Primal leading the way from J-Mac, who's getting stunned, but he's knocking people into the river, along with Langza helping out. Oh, had to make sure you're actually drowning. All right, LGE, another fight win, last minute of the game. Flag Gaming, they wish that would have lasted a bit longer too, because they didn't get a ton of ult charge from that.
Yeah, this is becoming troubling as well because LGE.Huya, they're so efficient right now. They only use 1 ult to get these fight wins, and they're building as well. EMP coming right back up. Hacker at 90% at the moment. LGE.Huya with so many options, and this very well could be the final fight of this map and of this series.
Final fight coming up, Flag Gaming. 6-member EMP self-destruct. Sven shutting the door on Flag Gaming, who are dying as quick as possible to try and force out one last push.
Oh, and they're flicking that baby diva around as well to make sure that they have the best shot of having a 6v5 and being able to isolate targets, which is exactly what LGE.Huya is doing.
They have to touch in 3 seconds. The shatter's pretty, but not touching the payload is even uglier, unfortunately. LGE held them at bay, and that's the 4-0 as we re-invite our expert analyst, Naori, where Flag Gaming, it felt like their confidence dimmed a lot in that last round.
I feel like it was slowly diminishing over the course of this match. I mean, we said it a couple times. The first 2 maps really 100% could have gone either way. The last 2 maps, it really felt like they hit a wall. And they just weren't too sure how to deal with that. LGE's first attack coming through with a very, very DPS heavy, spam heavy, in fact, composition, which allowed them to just break through and get to that first point. Then as soon as they got there, swapped over onto a far more mobile composition, running that Winston along with the Sombra, and of course they had Molly on the Ana there. And it worked for a while. They kind of almost got to second point. Eventually they realized, you know what, we're going to put Molly back on the Zen. And really, Molly on the Zen in that composition, that is 100% their flavor. In fact, Molly has just impressed me so much this whole series. The balance between keeping your team alive, but also fragging out has been fantastic. Normally, you'll find like a flex support will be either doing tons and tons of damage and everybody on their team is dying, or they're keeping everybody alive, but they're not contributing too much in terms of damage. And I feel like Molly's really hit the sweet spot there. Definitely one of my players to watch going forward. For Flag Gaming, on their attack, they got abused. LGE with that Halt hook was just so powerful, particularly on that first point. They held so close, and they shaved quite a large time bank off of the total time just by continuously booping people into the river. So really a good look for LGE there as well, using that Halt hook to great advantage. FG, they had really good shield pressure, which is what enabled them to force LGE to rotate, and which was what allowed them to eventually get to that first point. But their spam-heavy composition just wasn't working. Eventually, they swap over onto that 3-3. A little bit too late, because at that point, we saw the ult economy was just insane for LGE. They had every single ultimate in the world, and they made it impossible for Flag to build ultimates at all. So a good swap, but a little bit too late.
I think there's a worrying factor here amidst LGE.Huya, because at least in my mind, certainly when they play the 3-2-1 and certainly when they play it on those final 2 maps, that's when they're going to look at their best. We said that at the beginning as well, that this is where we expect LGE.Huya to look at their best. But I think the issue is arising where you're seeing them play the 2-2-2 splits, you're seeing them try the 3 DPS out, and against a team that's really solid in the 3 DPS and a team that can still build into the 3 DPS as well. I mean, Flag Gaming, you're talking about 2 brand new players to this roster this week and still made it that competitive. I mean, this is the returning champion from last season. LGE.Huya should look better. And I think the thing I'm worried about most is that it's 2-2-2 lock coming in. And so far, they haven't impressed me enough to be confident in their ability to make the finals yet again.
LGE.Huya, though, still head and shoulders above the rest, as with that 4-0 victory, they stay anchored in at first place, undefeated. Who will be the team that do that? Flag Gaming, you thought it might be them at second place, which they still will stay at that. So Group A is LGE.Huya, Flag Gaming, Team CC, and Bubble Burster Gaming, with BTRG and Phantom Wizard at the bottom. For Group B, we have BLG, T1WGZA, LGD, Lucky Future, and at the bottom, Light Gaming and 666 Legend. That will be at the end of our broadcast, but hey, stay tuned just for